Now recording.
That's the first time I've heard that.
Really?
Yeah. Just shows you how many meetings I do.
I think one of the things just as we start here to add is discussing changing the hours of the meeting, right?
Yes, please. That would be fantastic. Definitely bring that up at some point. We can try and organise a wee bit of time. The day's fine, just later would be great for me, evening times. And I think,
Okay.
well, yeah, I don't need to talk about it now. You just add it.
We'll bring it up later. It'll be quick. All right, so starting the meeting, May 16th, 3 p.m. UTC. All right, we've got Demi here from operations. We've got Highlander from comms and Ray from dev. First item up on the meeting is to approve the meeting minutes for May 2nd. Does anybody have any issues with the meeting minutes for May 2nd?
No, it's okay.
And actually, they're for the 3rd. Sorry, because we did change the.
Third. All good.
Yeah, I can see I'm just going to update the link since we're in here because. Because we changed the day, right? We pushed it to Friday. Okay. If we're all okay with that, then we can move on. And we're already into new business. So the first item we've got added is just changing discussion of the starting hour of the meeting minutes. Highlander, you wanted to bring this up. So do you want to?
Yeah, mate. I would love to check with Demi. I think, Demi, you are only a couple hours ahead of me from UK time, aren't you? So I'm just a suggestion, since Ray at the moment is around about 9 a.m. his time. I'm currently around about 4 o'clock. So maybe if we can push the meetings to the evening, maybe like 9 o'clock or something. So I think that's my UTC 10 p.m. If that works for you, is that too late for you, Demi?
Sorry, you said 10 p.m. UTC?
Aye, because I'm UTC +1 at the moment. So, yeah. Would that be too late for you?
So 10 p.m. UTC, for me, it's midnight.
You're 2 hours ahead then.
Yeah, that's ideal. So what time do you prefer in your time zone?
I'm currently UTC +1.
Yeah, but what time do you want the meeting?
I would love it. Either 8 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock at night works for me. 8 o'clock at a push, but I can make it work.
8 o'clock is 7 p.m.
11 for you.
8 o'clock is 8 o'clock UK time is 7 p.m. UTC, and it's 9 p.m. my time. And I mean, it's okay. I can say one night for this, one evening. It's okay for me.
Right. So if we go 8 p.m. my time, and is that 10 p.m. your time?
8 p.m. your time is 9 p.m. my time.
Right, so you're only an hour ahead. So if that's good for you, mate, I'm happy with that, mate. It's just during the day, it's just a bit hectic.
Okay, so 7 p.m. UTC on Thursday.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
7 p.m. So we're moving it 4 hours ahead.
Yeah. How does that work for you, Ray?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just see. So we're moving it from 3 p.m. UTC to what time UTC?
7.
Okay. 7 p.m. UTC. Yeah, that should be able to work on Thursdays.
Right, that's great, man. That's really good.
So, okay. We didn't start the event either. Let me start it. I just realized that.
As long as it's recording.
in the wrong room where you're normally in the stage.
Are we in the wrong room?
Well, it's okay. It's okay now, right? That's
For the recording, I would just stick with this room, and if people want to listen in, usually just see who's in the calls and just jump in. I wouldn't worry about it.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's my fault because I'm on the phone and I don't really know how to get into things properly.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, so we're going to move to 7 p.m. UTC. That's
Cheers,
our
boys.
agreement. I'm just going to do that this very second if everybody's okay with just waiting.
Yeah,
and
no
we can
worries, mate.
confirm it there. So I think it's updated. All right. So I've moved it in the Discord as well. So we should be good to go going forward. And all right. So the next item up is budget discussion. I can start that if everybody is okay with that.
Yeah, go for it.
Basically, the budget, we're in time lock. It should be unlocked here very soon, right? But we should probably start. We should just, I think, get our Q3 budget drafted and done, even if it's just a copy of the existing Q2 budget with the values extended out to Q3. I would like to see us definitely by if we can do it this week. Like I know Dimmy, you're meeting with operations. If we can just copy and paste the Q2 budget and then make any adjustments based on the in the next week or two, and at the next council meeting, essentially approve the draft of the Q3 budget. I think that would be and then get it out for the public to comment on.
Yeah, it's okay. I can ask Cristiano to do it. And Q3 is starting July 1st, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So
yeah, it's okay to move ahead.
Yep.
Yeah,
so we don't have. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's good for me as well. It makes sense. It gets you ahead of it as well. So all good.
Yeah, if we want the funds for Q3 at the start of Q3, we need to get it up on chain in the next about 3 or 4 weeks here. So, anyway, okay. I think I'd like to see, from my side, I'd like to see that done. We'll work on it on dev department. We should have some ideas on what the cost is and what will be going forward as budget and what it will actually have actual costs for. So, and then we can just, before we put it on chain in June, we can adjust any of the final numbers, but at least we're done and going. Okay, so that's good to move forward on. Any other comments on that? Otherwise, it looks like the time lock on Q2 budget will release in 2 days.
Yeah, sounds good.
All good. Thank you.
Okay. I put some. Okay. So next item is election discussion. It's pretty much the same issue as the budget. If we're going to open up some positions for election, or if people want to step down and have other people take a run at the positions, we should probably get that started for the same time frame, which is essentially having things starting and rolling in early June, so that the election can cycle over at the beginning of Q3 in July. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
The timing's good for me. No issues with it. On it though, if I may.
Yeah, Timmy, do you have anything?
No, it's okay.
I think just to clarify, just so we can move forward with a little bit of it, if it's accurate, is there was conversation, and I don't think any of this stuff has been completely formalized, but there was conversation that some of the positions would come up for election in like a minority, like 2 of the 5 positions would come up, or 3 of the 5 positions would come up for election in July or in June for taking effect at the beginning of quarter 3, and then the other positions would come up at a later time. I think we'll need to probably in our next meeting have some more formalized discussions on see if we can finalize that. But it sounds like beyond what we already have going on, the priorities for the next couple of weeks for the department should be making sure that the budget stuff makes sense, which hopefully wouldn't take too long, and then getting this these election items formalized.
Makes sense.
Okay, and I'll just add this as a commentary. If anybody's been paying attention to what's happening with the Atom Accelerator DAO elections, we should feel pretty good about the way our elections were held and operated. It seems like they're attempting to do what we did.
So I haven't been following the Atom Accelerator DAO elections, but I mean, I just saw that they put up 3 proposals, and the way of voting was a little bit weird. But anything else besides that?
Well, I think just in general, the Atom Accelerator DAO appointed the candidates. There wasn't an open democratic process to nominate oneself. It was that you applied to them and then they chose who they would apply as candidates, was one piece. And the other piece, I just was listening to the space with the candidate Grace last night. And one of the other pieces is that there's no way that someone won't be elected. They're not recognizing quorum in the election. So even if none of the candidates receive a quorum of votes, they will still take the candidate with the most votes.
Yeah, not ideal.
Yeah, so it's just really, and there's the commentary. Anyway, I just think that, well, what we did wasn't perfect. It was definitely more engaging. And so it's interesting to see someone else having to work within the framework that's available with on-chain governance and realize like that they, a well-funded think tank is still incurring the same issues that we incurred with trying to make on-chain voting and elections of individuals, functional. So,
yeah, they also have many more restrictions than Juno, because I mean, Atom Accelerator DAO, yes, it's a community initiative, but it's still somehow centralized, and so they have more restrictions than Juno. So they cannot do the exact same things that we did. So yeah, I mean, I think it's normal to see these kind of things from them.
Yep. So it's just nice. Yeah. I guess I was trying to say was that it's interesting to be able to watch someone attempt to do the same process that we went through, and then be able to evaluate it. So, all right. Next item was the RFP status. The Administrator RFP. Dimmy, do you know where that's at?
No, actually, I don't know. I'm not sure, to be honest.
Okay. I think we can. I can try to ping Cristiano and see why that hasn't got. I know we're going to need comms help on making sure that there's a, that position, because it's not technical, gets a lot of attention.
I agree. I was listening into the other meetings, man. I definitely think we should. I don't really know what else to do other than share it on Twitter and stuff like that. But I think more things can be better in terms of like if we can share it to the right people. And maybe I think we're lacking in the community calls. I think where we can actually promote it a bit and give some people the chance to come up and have a chat and, you know, just create a bit of a buzz about it. I think that needs to be more.
Yeah. Well, we talked about maybe LinkedIn. Maybe there's some other job application websites, or not even job, but contracting.
I think also, like, I know it's a kind of a broad role that you can be an administrator on many industries, but I think it's easier if the person is in the know-how of the charter and how things are happening here as well. I think you could just have someone that could just come in from that angle and just hit the ground running.
Yeah. I just want to make sure we get the best candidate we can get. Somebody that, you know, we're just able to, that they're able to take, they understand how to do administration. Yeah. You know, not that they're like, I would prefer an administrator, like a professional administrator first before somebody who knows crypto. If I had to pick between one or the other, because you can learn crypto, but learning organization, we need somebody who can start down this road right away.
Mm-hmm. I'll add it into the meeting notes, and I'll get to work on that, see what I can do. Because as it's key as well for the, you know, something key for our department. I think the admin role. I think it's something that would tap really well with the charter content creation, because that information's being funneled directly person to person. And it's just, I would love that role to be filled myself. So, yeah.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. Make a note on that, Lil D, that I've said that I'm going to try and get that looked into straight away.
And I pinged Cristiano just to ask where it's at. So. But definitely, I'd rather have somebody that is really good at organizing and orchestrating things than is obsessed with the latest shitcoin.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
Nice.
I think that covers the RFP statuses. I can give an update from Dev Department. We've got we just received a revised proposal for the blockchain maintenance. I think in the last. Since I woke up or since I went to bed, so in the last 12 hours, I haven't looked at it yet. And then we've also, I think, worked out almost everything in the DApp support role. We should have an update out, I hope today, if not. But this week, I think we'll have a finalized update as to the status of the DApp support RFP position.
That's great. Looking forward to that.
Yep. I think everything worked out, and I hope that it was an interesting process, but I think it worked out pretty well. We're learning quite a bit in the development department doing these. Definitely communication. Right? That's the big thing.
Well, this is that, mate. And, you know, and to be honest with you, I think communicating to the Cosmos ecosystem isn't the hard part, because everybody, albeit either wants to poke fun or not on Juno, does know what's happening on Juno. And I think it's more of a... I think Juno might have put itself in a wee position where some people might actually be scared to come on and fill some roles, hence why you're having a couple of RFPs that want to act on this stealth mode. So I'm thinking we'd kind of like to maybe change that narrative, but I think that'll be a domino effect if you start getting some people on board and start to see some wins happening.
Yep.
I do believe that is the case.
Yep. No, and I wanted to say with just communication, it was just generally even communicating with the people who apply. So once somebody sends a submission in, rather than just waiting to the end of the period, writing them back and saying, we got your submission, it's in process, don't worry about it. Right. And just even there's just so many tiny communication things. So we're trying to get all those from the development department perspective, based on what we've learned and what we've done. We're trying to get all that on chain in GitHub, in the processes file, so that people who want to, the other departments, as they start to do more RFPs, can have some, learn from our experience.
How are you dealing with? Because I came across, because we've had an RFP through, and it, like, how do you combat the situation if someone trying to like undercut or outbid someone? So maybe you get 2 submissions through, so you don't really want people seeing the submissions, or at least what I'm getting at is when you get to the stage of negotiating funds for the role, then you don't really want that in writing anywhere, because then people can see, well, he's been offered that, I'm going to overprice myself or undercut him and guarantee the role then, because maybe it's just down to the 2 candidates are really good, but maybe it just comes down to the decision of, well, he's cheaper, so we'll go with him. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just trying to work out how you've got a plan in trying to deal with that kind of situation if it ever occurred.
Yeah, so the way we kind of dealt with that, or we looked at that, and that's why, like, when you just submitted that PR yesterday, and I asked you, hey, is it closed? Because you don't want to put up submissions until it's closed. And
yeah, got you. Yeah, makes sense.
I think just work it in phases would be my opinion, is that when the submissions are closed, then once the presentations are, I don't know how you guys are doing it in comms, but once there's going to be a public review period, that's when the items get submitted, and I don't think necessarily, or get published so that the community can see them. I don't necessarily think that the lowest price is the best
way. No, I agree with that, but you won't come a point where people might just start adjusting figures a little bit if they see one another's,
Yep.
Yeah, but just like you said, that's the way to do it. What you said, so that's spot on.
Yeah, and we've got our revised proposals, and so now that we've got revised proposals from multiple candidates, even though they're different RFPs, what we'll do is we'll publish those revised proposals as we receive them. And then we're now we sent back a counter proposal. We published the counter proposal when we sent it back. We said, okay, we get your proposal, we got your revised proposal, and then basically we talked about this with Lorenzo and Mercury Dexter Kintsugi is, it just comes to a point where you just need to write what you want from the department perspective. Yeah. And then that way, if the vendor agrees, right, the RFP submitter agrees, and they agree to what you've written, and you wrote what you wrote based on what they submitted, you should have some shared understanding at that point, right, of what's expected. And so, but to answer your question, I would do, if there's multiple candidates, I would submit things I would publish things in blocks.
Yeah. So
that people aren't able to copy off of other people.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Any other items on the RFP?
Well, yeah, it was just from update from us. Then it's just we've received one from the graphics content role. Obviously, our submissions are kind of closed now. So we have got Camel's, I think, has written one as well, and myself filled in one for the charter content creation role, which I've left up there, but no one kind of submitted anything apart from the one other person who submitted for the graphics sort of role. So we'll take that internally, discuss with the department, and then we'll decide if we're going to go ahead and go to the next stage with either or of the candidates.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to all 3 departments having to experience the RFP process and see where we can learn from it.
Well, the next question is, if myself or Camel gets through to the next stage, then do we have public meetings and stuff? Because I know Camel don't really speak publicly. There's one of the questions I was thinking.
I think that's for you guys to decide. I mean, take feedback from the community and figure out how you want to do it.
Yeah. All right, nice one.
Yeah. Dimi for operations. I'm gonna reach out again to Lorenzo and dev department here and see if we can get over something to you guys, or not you guys, but get something to Kintsugi in the next day or two, just to finalize the terms, so that we can move forward and get funds released and get operations handed off. Yeah.
I know my team was reviewing today the different, like the new deliverables.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if they already sent feedback to Lorenzo or not. But yeah, I know things are moving, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
Happy days, guys. Happy days. Can I just say that? That's great news.
Yeah. Yeah, we can get this moving. So it looks like the DCA is working, coming into dev department, so that's a good sign too. So we'll have funds. So if there's nothing else with RFPs, the next item is Core 1 vesting contracts. It was, I guess I'll just give it context. It was brought up in Cross by Poroburu about the vesting contracts. I believe Cristiano has brought up the vesting contracts. They're listed in the budget. I think it's just a matter of it to provide some context to the impact of the vesting contracts. Things kind of came to a head, in the last week or so. So we just wanted to, Cristiano had asked me to put it on the agenda here. I don't know if Dimi, if you in operations have anything to say about it. We discussed it in dev department, but if you want to go first.
Yeah, so I shared my opinion, and I'm against like forcing people to, even converting the vesting to a new one. So I still think that everything should be voluntarily accepted by the different Core 1 members. Because I think like forcing or anything like that would be quite bad in general for Juno image. It would end up to be something similar to Prop 16, which is something that I don't think it's the best for Juno. So in general, I'm okay proceeding with the people who accept it. So for example, me, Jake, and Lobo. So canceling Lobo and converting mine and Jake vesting. But for block creators and Jack, they didn't agree on anything. They don't want to collaborate. So my opinion is just to leave them alone with their things and move forward. And then maybe in the future things will change. But for now, I think it's best to just keep as it is.
Okay, Highlander, do you have anything?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Demi. Not only just because it's I don't really mind about if people volunteer to do it, then great, fantastic. If people don't volunteer to do it, I mean, it's just a case of, right, if you don't want to do that, maybe later down the line we can recontract. Because if block creators is still around and he contributes, then that's fine. Do you know what I mean? But we've got Jack Zamplin's not really around as much, and I know his vesting ain't as much as it, but I just don't want to create this scene where if we remove or threaten to remove contracts or vesting, he goes and dumps a load of tokens. And I'm not sitting here threatened by him in any way means forward. I just think it's pointless going down this road at this moment in time where we need to be doing what we're doing and try and focus on, like, we bring in the DAP support role, we start getting things moving, King Sugi's moving ahead, start getting these things happening first, and then look at this kind of vesting down the line a little bit more, just maybe get more community engagement on the subject. And then the other thing I wanted to mention about it was, yeah, it just, does the council, like you mentioned, does the council want to be remembered for all this stuff? Personally, I don't think it should be. It should be remembered for all the bringing back builders and getting the chain from the depths of the pit it's found itself in, I think is what the council and charter should be remembered for. Because at the moment, it just seems like Block's probably got the wrong end of the stick. Yeah, to me, the way I talk to him, it's as if the council's against him and he's against the council. But I don't think the council does want that app developers. It's obvious, right? It's just that there's a process now for it. That's the thing I don't think Block gets. So my opinion, I think there could be a solution down the line. But I just think at the moment, if we start forcing things, it's going to cause more upsets. You're going to have more people walking away. And that's not what we want.
Okay. Yeah, I think I think all the opinions are valid. We talked about this for, I don't know if it was an hour in dev department. I know you guys were both in there in the chat, and we were going back and forth on things as well. I think fundamentally, I think there's two different pieces of this. I think to your point, to each of your points, is this something that charter, the council, the council, is this something that the council should deal with? I think there's an argument to be made that Core 1 is dissolved. The founders are dissolved, so that's one piece that I think is legitimate. But what the council's involvement potentially could be in this is that, if we're talking about the health and welfare of the chain, like we're talking about in bringing back DApps and doing these things, I think it's fair of us to discuss what the impact of these vesting agreements is. And I'm, again, not saying that it should be positive or negative. It should be an assessment of this is the continued impact of this. We've done it in the budget, I think, in a fairly objective way, showing that it's this much X amount of Juno is taken by each Core 1 member in these vesting contracts on a quarterly basis. So I think it's fair that the council or that operations, if they would deem it willing to do it, that they would put forth what the financial impact of this is. But I don't necessarily think that, like as you guys are saying, that the council should be driving what should be done with these funds.
I think it's a community level, really.
Mm-hmm.
It's the ball stops at the community, really. If the council is pushing it, then it does look like the council is trying to do something about it. But yeah, being transparent with the budget, I think, is totally fine. What you're showing in the budgets, and if the community wants to make a change on that, then that's up to the community. Then,
yeah, I think the thing that came out of the conversation in the dev meeting was essentially, it's pretty clear these guys have some, and Dimmy's obviously in here, but the Core 1 members have had an opportunity to amass substantial amounts of Juno. And that Juno, as we saw this week with block creators selling 50,000 Juno or whatever it was, can impact the impact community sentiment and influence the health and well-being of the community. So I think when I'm saying like there could be an evaluation or an assessment from an objective standpoint, or trying to be objective about it, is they already have X amount of funds, right? And they're allotted another, I think Dimmy was saying 180,000 Juno each, minus Jack's perspective. So the evaluation should potentially be in a, as objective way as possible, is what is the impact of doing nothing and allowing the remaining vesting to continue to flow out? Is the cause for concern past the point of being something that Juno can affect without a Prop 16, or is there a legitimate economic reason to consider the remainder of the vesting? And I'm not saying that the council should make a statement one way or the other, but I think when we look at what the council and what the charter costs to operate, which I think is still up for debate whether that's sustainable, and then you look at what Core 1 costs to maintain, I mean, I don't think there's any argument that the cost of maintaining Core 1 exceeds the cost of maintaining the charter at this point. And again, it's not that you can't have both, but I think people should, we should be providing data to people to be able to make decisions and not take sides on some of this stuff. So,
yeah, it's a fair few points, mate. It's a tough one, but like I say, I think if we can, like Demi's here, Jake's here, it's I've not got a problem with Core 1 because these two are still here. What can potentially still be here and contribute, but I just think down the line, I think a renegotiation, of the vesting or whatever. If just think the community voted Core 1 to be dissolved, then it should be dissolved. I get it. Do you know what I mean? So it's very tough.
Well, I just want to say that, and I know Jimmy's listening if he wants to jump in too. I want to say that the point of evaluating the cost of the impact of the vesting isn't to say remove the vesting or even that that's an option. It's to actually be able to have a discussion about the expense and the cost of operating Juno. Let's just assume that you can't do anything about the vesting. Then we just need to look at that as part of the impact of the inflation or part of the impact of the circulating supply of Juno. It's the same thing that I think as we go further with the council, I would like to see done is actually figuring out the impact of inflation. Because we don't know.
I'd love to see. Go ahead. It'd be good to see. Yeah. I'd love to see that. It'd be good.
So the vesting to add the vesting to the conversation of the cost of operating Juno is easy. The inflationary part is going to be more difficult because I think there's a point where I was joking about it with you the other day, Highlander, where maybe the new tagline for Juno isn't incubator of the interchain, but it's that building on Juno only gets cheaper because the price is only going to go down. So
yeah,
so it's just a matter of the discussion of like what is the actual operating cost of Juno, and we understand that building on Juno is subsidized through inflation, or sustaining the network is subsidized through inflation. And I think it's interesting because I'm not sure that any, at least in a public sense, any chain has ever, actually provided any sort of evaluation of the sustainability of the chain in terms of its tokenomics and in terms of its operating expenses.
Yeah, totally agree.
So, and I don't think Juno is alone in this. I think most chains, as you see the price of the token or the inflation of the token versus the demand for the token or the utility of the token, you're seeing the same behavior. The same whatever pattern of price and volume on every token. So.
Sorry, I wanted to ask quickly, is anybody in the chat saying anything on the subject? Just struggling to get the chat open on this.
Yeah, I see a little bit of chatter, but I will say one other thing though too, that and maybe this is, we'll just say from looking at talking about Block Creator's proposal, we had a conversation in the development department, and he had not, or they had not reached out to anyone in development department, and the comments that were made in the social media on both Discord and Telegram, and even in the proposal itself, had either directly stated in the social chats or implied in the proposal that the charter had ignored the efforts that were made by block creators. And I don't think, like, I can understand somebody having a position and wanting to move forward with DApps, but I don't feel like the discussion was in good faith. And I'm trying to be as objective about that as possible. But to say that, I believe he used that he had reached out to the charter or the council, and had fallen on deaf ears. The only person he could say that he spoke with was Dimi. And he didn't, and I've had conversations with him in DMs, and I was able to have conversations with him after he had made those posts, but there wasn't any effort to reach out to anyone that I was aware of other than Dimi. And maybe there were conversations, but go ahead, Highlander.
I think it was just Commonwealth, really, a post on Commonwealth.
Yeah. So that's all. I don't think it was. I don't think
I've spoken to him in DM and stuff, and it's always been the same with me. Yes, we do need DApps. Yes, of course, but I don't see it as what I've seen. Is I see the charter has answered the calls by putting an RFP out for DApp development role. That's answered that call. So for me, I think the charter's kind of done its job a little bit. So I don't really know. It's a bit complicated. You just don't go out there and hire DApp devs, right? It needs to be a front end dev, a back end dev, a blockchain dev. These things. It's just not a DApp developer. Do you know what I mean? The process is different RFPs out for different things. And I think the first thing we did, or you guys did, sorry, was you get that role filled with someone who can support projects that want to come in and sort of tie the pieces together for them so they can actually launch on the chain their ideas. So, I think for me, the job's been done. That's my thoughts.
And then start recruiting projects and sending them to the support team, and having the support team help them get launched as efficiently as possible, and then coordinate, maintenance and so on, with regards to the chain going forward. So, we don't have to keep belaboring this. I think we're going to see other chains struggling with the same things. We already are seeing other chains struggling with the same things. Other chains have different resources, but I think Juno's in the position, and other chains have learned as well, like Terra Classic and so on, that you can't just give projects grants and funds and then expect them to stick around. It doesn't work. We've been down that road, mate. We've been down that road. It's not worked, Like you said the other day to me, right? It's like you can fund them for a certain part, but does that fund them to stick around and maintain the thing? You know what I mean? It doesn't work. And I don't think this is unique to Juno either. I think it's fundamentally, like, what we're seeing based on now having some data out of Terra is that there's actually nobody in the Cosmos. The people who are shilling the projects and promoting stuff are also the builders. And they've got money from the last project or from the community pools and things, but there isn't actual large scale retail demand or new money flowing into Cosmos. Not to independent projects.
It's this market at the moment in time. Nobody can build a project and have sustainable value come back to them yet, because it is a bear market. Unfortunately, Juno was launched in the peak of I suppose the peak of a bull run, where it was like there was a lot of liquidity flying around. It's different days now, so it just doesn't work. There needs to be, you got to come here and build because you want to come here and build, unfortunately.
Exactly.
And just try and get to that stage where you build a fantastic product that eventually, when a bull season does come back to the altcoins, you will get a stream of good users, but we've got an opportunity here to try and, what I was mentioning before the recording happened, to get our like building blocks in place. Yes, we're going to have like some builders doing stuff at the moment, but I mean onboarding content. We need stuff like this in place so we can actually it's just a simple like a PR package. It just goes out to anyone who's interested in what Juno is, and essentially that's what the website is. And all the pieces are there in place for people to just hop on and use Juno, use these products.
Yep. Any thoughts, Dimmy?
Yeah, I missed what's the point of the conversation, to be honest. I lost myself.
Oh, that's all right. I think it was just essentially, we can move on. We're about wrapped up too. But I think it's essentially that, like what you're saying, Highlander, and I agree with, is we need teams and people who are interested in building because they're interested in the tech and interested in using blockchain, not in investing in teams that are good at submitting grants or going chain to chain and basically feeding themselves through handouts. So and unfortunately that is, and it's not to say on any specific team, that is the culture of building in this space with the community pools that have built, that there's little accountability and there's a lot of cash.
Yeah, I agree. So, I mean, all in all, really, to reply to what the situation with block creators and hiring DApp devs is, I think the process at the charter is good. The RFPs sort of filter out any like grifters and stuff like that as well. So I think it's good process, and we're seeing results on it, and we will see results now as well. So yeah, that's my stance on it.
Okay. Anything else, Dimmy? Otherwise, we can move on.
I think we can move on, also because I don't have much time because I'm catching a flight.
Okay. Well, I don't think we have much more to go through. We've just got the vesting item, which I can sum up is the vesting was taken care of. Core 1 sent the vesting tokens to the council treasury, so that's resolved.
Yep.
The DAO reinitialization status, I think you guys have worked through that. That's resolved, right?
Sorry, which one?
DAO reinitiating the vesting.
I think yes, because there was the proposal that's being voted on, so I think it's okay.
Yep. GitHub ownership. You and I, Dimmy, we need to meet yet, but we're kind of we can do that. We're still working on that. You were on vacation.
Yeah, we can meet maybe next week.
Yep. Conflict of interest policy. I think we're ready for that to go online. I think Highlander, you weren't here last week, but Dimmy had said it was okay. I've said it's okay. So we just need to put that up.
Camel reviewed most of that and was happy with it as well. I've had a little look over. Yep, happy with that to go ahead as well.
Okay. So I think that'll go on chain, and we'll put it up as a proposal for all the departments to vote on to approve applying a universal conflict of interest policy.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Happy days. Happy days.
The website, RFP dashboard, any updates on that?
This is what Design DAO are possibly asking, that they've done a quick fix for the problem on the website, but they were telling me, what we was talking to Andre and stuff like that about it, and they were trying to suggest it was a good idea, but copy the ecosystem page over and sort of use it that way. But Patrick at Design DAO was just saying, for what we're trying to do, it's just like a massive amount of messing about. So I think we can just do something more simpler and just have it on that page, but just try and have it reasonable. So yeah, going to work on that.
Okay. And asset management. I'll give an update from in our last dev meeting. Poroburu has said he's got some more time now freed up to start pursuing asset management and looking at mechanisms so that Juno can decentralize their security and storage. He had posted a vault solution that can be run on Akash to store credentials in a distributed way. And so I believe that's the progress on the asset management at this point.
Yeah, I do have an update because yesterday I was checking randomly on Gitbook because I was using myself. And I saw that we have a Gitbook account for Juno and it has a pro subscription. And I have no idea who's paying it and who is managing it. So I think we should add the asset list.
Okay. I know that's on the list because we've been asking about that in the development meetings as well. Is how do you update the documentation?
Okay.
Because but that's a good point that we have a pro. I don't want to go down this road too much because we can wrap up here quickly. I'm not sure that we even need Gitbook because you can have GitHub build the content itself as well.
Yeah, GitHub documentation sucks. I mean, Gitbook is quite a good product. Like if you can maintain it and keep it updated, I think it's good because it's very easy and clear for developers to use it. So.
Yeah, we just don't know who's got access to the Gitbook.
I do have access for sure. I don't think I am.
I've got access as well. If you remember, Dimmy, ages ago, I think it was created by Null, and I think I got myself added by Null, or even block creators maybe might added me. I don't know. I don't really know. But I got added so I could actually keep on top of the documentation and add whatever. But I'm sure, I can't remember, Dimmy, if it was you added me or something, but Null did create it in the very early days.
We can find out who's the admin and the transfer.
Yeah. There's it may be that the pro license came from Gitbook recognizing that Juno is a larger open source project because they did give out free pro licenses to
nice
legitimate open source projects.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
So I know I've been with multiple projects that have received the pro license. You had to go through an application process. In the beginning, it was literally just asking them, and then they gave it to you. But I know they've become more constrictive, and so. Okay, well, I guess you guys could figure that out. Or we could figure out even just getting a user list of who has rights to update the documentation. So.
Yeah, and anyway, it's also connected to GitHub, so you can also update the documentation from GitHub itself.
Yeah, that's what we were asking about in the development department meeting because Lorenzo updated the GitHub, but I guess his changes weren't merged in, so they never got updated to the Gitbook.
I see. Maybe there is some kind of play button to press.
Yeah. So I think we just need to figure out what that process is. Who's in charge of that process, or who knows how that works, or nobody does, to get somebody so we can get like the endpoint documentation and things updated because it's not accurate.
Yeah, we can talk about the docs after the another day, mate, off the meeting.
Yep. Yeah, but we can do it in the asset management topic.
Okay.
So, all right. Is there anything else?
That's it for me. If someone can post me the minutes, and when I get back from my activities later, I can have a look at them. Will D, thanks for adding them together.
All right. Well, that'll do it for this meeting, unless there's anything else. But Otherwise, I think it was productive and just under an hour. So great.
Just very quickly.
Yeah.
Very quickly, just to mention that I'd like to do a council meeting on a Twitter space one day. Would you be up for it?
Yeah.
All right,
It's
cool. That's all.
Boring like this.
No, you just get a lot more people listening.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we
cool.
should.
No worries.
Okay.
It's a one-off, you know, if we have something good. But yeah, we'll leave it at that. Timmy, cheers.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. Yeah. Hey, Highlander, before you disappear, if you're still here.
Yeah.
We can go. Yeah, it would be good to do a space. Like a good one would be where we've got the election upcoming and the budget.
Yeah, definitely. Like, make it a key one where it's the community's interest. You know, if it's going to be a banger of a meeting, then just like, yeah, well, listen, it's going to be good. Let's get it on Twitter Spaces, and I guarantee you'll have a lot of listeners in. Especially when you start seeing some of the RFPs coming through and getting accepted and stuff. I think you'll start creating a buzz then. Optimistic, mate. I'm optimistic.
Yep, I agree. So either in 2 weeks is probably too soon, but we could say in 4 weeks.
Yeah. Do it in 4 weeks. Align it with your elections planning. Do it then. Awesome.
The election stuff should be worked out. The budget should be finalized essentially and on chain, and that'll give some very clear community topics to discuss.
Awesome. All right, I got to shoot then. Thanks for sharing that today. Lovely talking to you all, and we'll catch you all soon.
See you later.
See you now. Bye.